Hello friends, good morning. I hope your day is going well so far. In this video, I wanted to bring you a little rediscovered drugstore get ready with me. I'm going to include in this video my once palette because it is the palette for all seasons, I feel, and I haven't really done like a summertime look with it. So I thought it might be fun to pull that in. I have gotten some requests to do that. And in case you didn't know, I do have a full playlist of, I'm thinking at this point, well over a dozen videos using the needs and the wants, my collab with Revolution. And I feel like I've done so much with them, I never want to be that person who's like, I'm only using my palette, or I'm overloading you with that kind of content, because that's not really what you came to my channel for. You know, you came for the various reviews on all kinds of brands. So it's kind of like, I'm more than happy to infuse this palette from time to time. I love this palette. It's my heart and soul in a palette, you know, but I never want to stray from my channel's real purpose here on YouTube. So that's where I stand here. As far as everything else in this video, it's all stuff that I just kind of peeked in my drawers and I was like, haven't really used that in a while. Or, oh my gosh, I used to love that. That's kind of where it stands. I've got the makeup headband engaged. We are ready to go. This is my CoverGirl Pore Minimizing Primer. I've used this quite a bit over time. It has kind of a lavender look to it, and I do think it's effective. It feels much smoother and more on the moisturizing side than Benefit's Porefessional, my classic pore primer to compare anything pore related to. Like, you put it on and you feel like you're applying moisturizer, but then as it starts to absorb into the skin, you notice the smoothness, like the more even feel all across your skin. I've got a handful of different CoverGirl primers, and in the past I would say this is the one I've probably used the most, but recently not as much. So there's that. Foundation wise, I'm using my Conceal and Define from Revolution. I wear this in the shade F7. I really love the coverage and the lightweight feel of this foundation. It's a really nice combo, but I just hadn't picked it up in a while. It's got the huge butt foot applicator. Speaking of bucks, we have the Bambi Golden book now, and I've been reading that a lot. It's a long golden book, FYI. Listen to the sound effects. So I'm just dotting this around, getting it everywhere, and then I decided to use a rediscovered sponge. This is my Ulta brand blender. I can't remember what the exact name they use for this is, but it's a smallish one, and it fits a lot of little nooks and crannies on the skin, let me tell you. And so I'm gonna dab this in everywhere. Really nice coverage, like I said. It's a good summertime foundation when you still want the coverage, but not all the weight, I would say. Thank you guys so much for the sweet comments on my vlog that I posted earlier in the week. The little Father's Day snippet that I put at the end. I just thought that was too sweet not to include. Bub is such a, you know, he's a gentle giant, as we say. It's hard not to tear up, though, when you see that sweet little gift they gave him, and I cried all over again as I was editing that. So I've just been using the butt end of this little blender to get that blended out all over the skin. Feeling really, really good about the coverage. As I was streaking it across, I thought, you know, it might be borderline just a hint dark, but now that it's all blended, I'm like, no, it looks pretty perfect. And I can see kind of a gentle, like, ability to catch the light with my skin still. It's not super duper flat. Kind of a natural matte finish with this one. So I don't know why I keep dabbing. It just feels good. Dab, dab, dab. Now here's a concealer I remember really being obsessed with like a year or so ago, and it's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. I wear it in Classic Ivory. And I always talked about this as being a really nice concealer when you're maybe using a lighter coverage product like your BB creams and different things on your skin that might have less coverage or less staying power. So therefore it makes sense to pair with those kind of a lighter concealer, right? It's still gonna cover some things, but just as far as the wear of everything goes, it's gonna mesh with your whole light coverage look better. Here my look really isn't super light coverage, but it still plays nicely, and I just saw this and thought, yeah, that's a concealer I have not reached for enough lately. So I'm just kind of dabbing it pretty liberally, I would say, on the under eye area and around here. I feel like this concealer is so light, as in lightweight. If I have a little extra going on my skin, I don't feel like it's a problem. You know, I don't think it makes me look heavy at all. It's gonna be one of the sneakiest, most lightweight looking concealers ever. So now I'm using the more pointed end of my sponge here. By the way, as I was looking at sponges that I was maybe gonna use for this video, remember that Real Techniques one that I got that's like the size of a mini Nerf football? Their Jumbo Beauty Blender? I was thinking about pulling that out. Instead, I went small. So this shade, I think being a little lighter and brighter than the foundation does brighten me up a bit. It's not the coverage of the e.l.f., you know, the e.l.f. Camo Concealer that's kind of become a little drugstore benchmark comparison concealer for me. It's not there, and that's not what everyone wants. So if you want something lighter, more natural looking, this is it. And like I said, it is like the best thing to pair up with your really light coverage BB products because it just makes a lot of sense. The textures on the skin really mesh together. And then I have this thing that I used way back in the day, and then I repurchased it not all that long ago. It is the under eye setting powder from e.l.f. And I remembered thinking, like, if you look really closely at this powder, I feel like there's a hint of some shimmer in it. And I'm not really sure what to make of that. Like if I swatch it out on my hand, I can sometimes pick up on a little, but it's not super obvious. And my girl Patty, Rockstar Mom here on YouTube, I've definitely seen her use this from time to time and have great results. So I'm like, well, maybe go ahead and try it again. So I did, and I've got my small tapered brush here, and my camera rudely cut out on me just as I was starting to use it. And I'm just gonna set my under eye lightly for staying power's sake. Not really to affect the look of the concealer because I thought, you know, everything looked fine there. I'm just setting it up a little bit. And every time I get up and I do something different with my camera, I come back and sit down and it's like, I look so warm in my little screen. And I'm just dabbing whatever I have left there in the cap on my T-zone kind of, just, you know, wherever I put concealer, I'm just kind of topping it off. So I feel on my under eye a little smoother to the touch. I think I'm gonna have good staying power there. And I don't see any sparkle to the naked eye, but I just remembered finding some. I remembered detecting some in this. And then all over the face for a little enhanced staying power today, I'm gonna use my Maybelline Super Stay Pressed Powder. I remember doing a full review on this. This is in Buff Beige, by the way. And I wasn't like super impressed by this product coverage-wise, just as is, because they call it a full coverage powder. But I don't really mind it in the role of setting a foundation. Very lightly, not a lot on my brush. This foundation doesn't need a ton of setting powder at all. I was just kind of looking for another powder to experiment with. And then I'm gonna bring in my butter bronzer. This is my sculpting shade. So this is the really deep shade that I've been able to find at Walmart. And I think it has ever so slightly a bit of a reddish undertone to it, which happens to look really natural on my skin. And oh gosh, that scent. I'm ready for the scent now, you know? Like you smell butter bronzer in the middle of bronzer. You smell butter bronzer in the middle of winter and you're like, yeah, vacation would be nice. And then in the summertime, it's like, heck yes, I'm on the butter bronzer train again. I can handle the temptation of those smells now, right? Oh boy. Pompano Joe's Indested is calling my name. Little bit of contour with this. It does it very well. Is that thunder? No, just a loud car. My Weather Channel app said it was gonna rain soon. So, Bub and I have been needing a new show to watch for a while. Like, we've been bouncing around to all kinds of things lately, ever since Idol got over, pretty much. Like, we watched Chernobyl, which was kind of like a mini-series show, but now we are officially, as of last night, we officially started The Sopranos. Neither of us had seen that show, and we've been told by a lot of people, like, that's one you have to watch, so. Okay, so I feel very nicely bronzed with this. This is gonna get reached for more. And then you guys, I ended up rounding up a butter blush in one of their deeper shades. This is the Saucy Mauve butter blush. I found it at Walmart. So I gotta admit, this is new to me. As far as stuff on the market goes, I know it's not overall super new, but I really wanted to use it today. And since I was using the butter bronzer, I was like, let's go for it. So let's see how this does. See if it's enough color for us. Saucy Mauve. It's got a little glow, which I absolutely love. This cheek versus this cheek's winning every time. Absolutely. Oh, I love that. That's got a really beautiful sheen to it that I wasn't even expecting. Oh man. See, when they first came out with butter blushes, they had like a couple of shades and they were just like really, really light, and you could not get, me personally, I could not get any blush satisfaction out of it. Here, the blush satisfaction meter is going up to 10, I tell you. I really like that shade. I like that glow. All about it. Here for it. Yes! Well, what highlighter did you pick, Em? Well, here's what I found. I looked in my highlighter drawer and I realized I think I have far more high-end highlights than drugstore ones, but I do have this e.l.f. Illuminating Palette. This I've always thought of as a quad of gentle highlighters, like really the subtle glow on all of these. You can see the variance in tone. You don't probably need me to point that out, but I'm gonna go for this kind of pinky looking one. I remember these being just so super soft. Like they do not look metallic whatsoever on the skin, but they're still brightening. Should we be reaching for this more too? Good Lord, that's pretty. It's this pink shade that I'm using, pinky tone. It's not like glaringly pink as you can see, but it's really soft. It's something where you could look up close at someone's skin and probably not detect that as makeup, but you can really see the glow. That's nice. I really like that. Oh, wow. We're finding some rediscovered gems today, my loves. And then for a mist that I really, really like, I love the smell of this. I love the effect of this, but I haven't really reached for it a ton ever since the Farsali. Like that rose gold skin mist, you know when Jafar puts the Sultan in kind of a trance with his staff? And like the Sultan can't think of anything but exactly what Jafar wants him to think of? Like that's kind of what the Farsali skin mist does to me. Like I love that scent so much. It kind of like makes me forget about all other setting mists. Oh my word. Okay, so we're gonna use the Dew Mist from L'Oreal today and get reminded of that yummy scent, but I've got a hair stuck to my nose. First two spritzes were like way off the grid, so I had to do a few extra. Really liking the skin. Should we stop here? Should we just call it a day? Because the cheekbones and the cheeks are really bringing it. I have been really keeping track of my empties again, and I have accumulated so many empties of brow products. Skinny pencils that I'm just like burning through. I can't really find a lot that I feel like I haven't used in a while as far as my brow stuff, except maybe this CoverGirl 710, this little like brow pomade-y looking thing. I've said this before, but I don't like how tiny the opening here is here because I can't really hardly even see how much I'm loading my brush up with, but living dangerously, we'll just go to the brow and see what happens. I went a little high on the brow because again, there was more on the brush than I realized. Go figure. Now that there's less on my brush, you'll notice I started right in here where I feel like the brow can handle the most product. And then as there's less and less on my brush, that's how I work inward. I get a little more real gently and we'll finish the tail. Another thing I've run out of recently is my Drunk Elephant, what's it called? C Firma eye cream. The one with the little orangey top that I use every day in the morning. Now I've been using it super consistently, so I'm not shocked that I ran out, but in the sense that when you use a Drunk Elephant product, you have no clue when you're almost out of it. It did kind of shock me. One day you just pump down and there's nothing. The day before you thought you had plenty. It's like, wow, okay. I need a little gauge. I was definitely not armed with a backup of that product. So I've been using my IT Cosmetics. There's like a bye-bye eye cream, something that I got in the Sephora Play box, and I do like that. It's a nice texture. It's working well under makeup, but I was kind of trying to stay with a lot of my Drunk Elephant products skincare-wise. This is not my best brow job here. They just need a little wider thing to put this in so you can really see like, okay, I'm just getting a little bit, but here it's so deep and so narrow. It's like, let's dive in. Let's just see what happens. Maybelline actually has this Tattoo Studio that I've been using a little bit lately in the ash brown shade. And I do like that quite a bit. And I've given one of the blonde shades to my mom and it's really working well for her. She was kind of hitting a place where blondish tones just weren't looking right in some other products, and that one was really successful. And I think part of the key is just having some finesse with that little double-ended brush that comes with it, which is an angled brush and then a spoolie, and kind of going back and forth and keeping the spoolie working through. Like a spoolie probably could have helped me out with this look as well, and that's my e.l.f. Clear Brow Gel that I'm using. We are not gonna stray from Milani eyeshadow primer today, just a tiny bit between two eyes. I think that is a big factor in staying power, is not over overloading your eyes with eye primer. My old Once palette, this is my beat up one, not my pretty one. This is the one where, like, when I did a palette bingo, I numbered everything. I underlined certain shades for another challenge. I broke a couple, gouged them. But I look at it and I see a loved palette, so it makes me happy. Let's see, I've had some requests to do a look with Cupcake. That's my shade down here, lower corner. It's a nice little peachy color, so I may work that in today. I think I'm gonna set my crease up with a little bit of Midwest, my nice warm matte color here. I had a little Chicago getaway just over a week ago for Bub's legal thing, and it was so fun to take my needs palette with me and be like, okay, I got my blush, I got my bronzer, I got my highlight. Like, it was all because of something I like designed, you know. It was really a fun feeling. I needed those things and it was in the needs. Very satisfying, because a year ago at that time I was doing the photo shoot for those products in Chicago while I was also up for the legal conference. So Midwest is just this really great, gentle, easy crease color, a little on the warm side, you know. And then you also have options like Hobby or Prayer or Deuce Paid to get a little, you know, deeper with it. But I think I'm going to take Cupcake now. Cupcake and Oh Heavens are a really similar texture as far as the shimmers. They're very nice and soft. There's nothing really like sparkly in them. They're just a beautiful sheen. So I'm going to take a little Cupcake there and dab this on the lid. Super gentle, just light peach happening here. It's a really nice, easy, like evening out the lid kind of shade. You know, you get a little hint of some peachy color, but it's not too loud. And then I'm going to take Oh Heavens, and while I've got this brush, I'm just going to let that come around my inner corner a bit. Then what? How about a little Laugh Cry? A little Laugh Cry on the outer part of the lid. Let's bump it up color-wise for ourselves. I don't know what I was planning to do with this palette. It's just you kind of open it up and run with it, you know? But I'm going for, you know, the lighter, summery, brighter kind of feeling. This is for the people who aren't quite wanting to go there with the Huda Neons, but you still might like a little pop. Got that, and then I'm gonna dip in to just a little bit of Love Tons. Be gentle with this shade. Little goes a long way. But I'm gonna like use this in my outer corner to kind of deepen. But at the same time, this shade has some life, you know. It's got a little color, a little punch. These shades used very softly, Laugh Cry and Love Tons can make really pretty blushes too. And Oh Heavens makes a nice highlight, so would Eve Rose. Yeah, it's fun using Love Tons in that outer corner sense. Because, I mean, we've definitely got the rich, deep shades that we could call on for outer corner. But if you're kind of trying to keep your look a little bit lighter and brighter, that's fun. And then what I think I will add, just kind of over the border of that, is we're gonna go back to Laugh Cry. Look how we've stayed kind of in this little zone of the palette. Little Laugh Cry. This is my wispy white, I call it. It's the Sigma E36. It's a very small, kind of crease looking brush, right? But it's not super dense with bristles, so you get a nice light application. This is, again, Laugh Cry, our really bright kind of corally orange. Letting that come up and out from the eye. Gonna give that a gentle blend with my E40 Bare, nothing on it. And then I think I will go back to Cupcake and we'll just let that kind of highlight that area. Soft, simple, coral eye. With this amount of warm punch above the eye, I kind of want to leave the bottom part just sort of nude, kind of bare. And I'm going to use my Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight here in the lower inner rim. As I was getting ready for bed last night, I was also thinking about things I haven't done with the Once palette. And one thing, well, I mean, I have done them, but I haven't really showed them in looks. One thing that's really fun to do is to take Oh Heavens and do a very simple look this way. Oh Heavens, like on most of the lid, and then pull in just one deeper color, like Oh Heavens and Dark and Early, okay? Oh Heavens and Corduroy, Oh Heavens and Family, Oh Heavens and Pi-Fi, Oh Heavens and Capricorn. Like, just do that very simple combination, and as a deeper shade starts to overlap that light pearly color, a really pretty thing happens, and you almost get this unusual third shade with the overlap. So try that sometime. I'm going to be doing that too. But for now, I'm trying to find a rediscovered drugstore eyeliner, and I think I'm going to use my Stay Put Matte, but my brown shade. of it. I was talking about this very recently, actually, that this has sort of dethroned the Jordana Color Envy liquid liner that you just can't find anymore. I think this is the next best drugstore thing. Winging it out. This brown is so dark, it really does kind of look black at a glance. I think maybe I should quit while I'm ahead on those wings, because sometimes I mess with them too long and they just don't end up how I want them. Then for mascara, I think I'm going to use some of this, the Falsies. I'm still working through this tube. It's one of the older types of mascaras that I have, so I feel like it can kind of fall in this rediscovered category. This mascara has hit a really good like age sweet spot for me. You know how sometimes you keep a mascara for a few weeks and it's like, yeah, it's building up nicely. This one really can achieve some length. It's nice to see. I don't know what happened with my Weather Channel app, but it's certainly looking sunny out there today. I think I've mentioned before that I don't fully trust this mascara on my lower lash line. It has smudged a little bit. It's the L'Oreal Unlimited. I like the way it makes the lashes look, but it will smudge a little bit, but I just haven't gotten to pick up some new Lash Discovery waterproof yet. And then I think I'm going to pop a kind of rediscovered lash on the upper lash line. I'm going to do some Ardell Wispies, old school style. I'm going to put those on and then we'll be back to do lips. All right, guys, I have been wispified. I got my Wispies on. I'm loving the way they kind of frame this eye look. That's really all about the top part of the eye. I think that's a nice way to establish some lightness with your look if you're trying to keep it a little different for summertime. Loving the color combo of the splashes of orange and magenta and peach. And we're gonna play off of those tones and go with this on the lips. This is a Revlon Ultra HD. So this is a matte lip color in the shade HD Love. And I pulled it out of my corals section and it's definitely a bright type of corals. So let's go with it. These feel very velvety, like pretty comfortable on the lips. I would say they're not up to par staying power with maybe certain other liquid lipsticks, but at the same time they're not as drying. And they're really, really scented, like very sweet, almost a little tropical. Kind of reminding me of the scent of the Ultra HD lipsticks, the skinny tubes. Okay, just trying to keep it between the navigational beacons here. Pretty sure I've stayed with just this one dip of the product so far. That's a fun shade. That's a shade that says, hello, I'm here to party. I'm very pleased with this look. I feel like I haven't done a bright lip like this in a while and it's giving me life and I'm loving the coordination with the eye as well. Gosh, a lot of great rediscovered stuff. Like there was nothing I felt like I pulled out and I was like, oh, I'm so disappointed by this, you know? A couple of the real rock stars. I mean, I loved the whole bronzer, blush, and highlight combo here today. The glow on the cheeks, I mean, we saw that getting established with the blush and then we, boom, popped it up with this e.l.f. illuminating palette and it looks so nice and even up close it looks just really flawless. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had fun with this. I think it's always neat to see people pull from their stash and pull out some things that maybe haven't gotten a lot of buzz lately. If you're looking for kind of a bright, summery, fun look with the Once palette, maybe this gave you a little inspiration there as well. And a warm corally red lip. I mean, come on, this HD Love shade, so nice. I may just go with the makeup headband all day at this point because I feel like it's really needed for my look. Anyway, love you guys. I will talk to you again soon. Bye.